Hi guys, hope you're all okay. It's Chantel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've just got a fun video for you. I've been absolutely obsessed over a show on Netflix called Emily in Paris. Now, I had heard about this series before and it just never piqued my interest to watch it, but over the Christmas time I watched both series. There's two, and I watched both of them within 2 days because I was just drawn to it. I couldn't stop watching. It's such an easy watch type of show. It's very fun and just so easy to watch, and I just found myself absolutely obsessing over it. I couldn't stop watching it. I was staying up dead late just to get like another few episodes in. I loved it that much. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen it, but it's all about a girl that relocates to Paris from America for work, and it's all about her life in Paris and everything that goes on, and it's just so good. I love it so much, and I hope there's a series 3 because I just can't wait for it. But I think that'll be like towards the back end of the year, but I'll just be waiting for it coming out. So let us know in the comments if you've seen Emily in Paris and what do you think of it? Do you think it's such a good show? Have you been like stuck to your seat watching it? But anyway, I thought I'd just do a really fun video and send some of my favourite characters from the show, and it's just my opinion on how I think they would smell and what fragrances they would choose. Now, let's start off by sending the main character, Emily Cooper, who's played by the beautiful Lily Collins. Now, Emily's quite an outgoing, bubbly, fun-loving type of girl. She's very out there with her clothing. She likes all the bright colours, and she's got like a very unique style of fashion, especially being in Paris. She's also very enthusiastic about her job, and Emily works in marketing, and one of the products that she's marketing is a fragrance by a brand called Dior, and the fragrance she wears in a couple of episodes, and she describes it as wearing poetry. And she also mentions that the fragrance has gardenia and musk in it. So I had a little look through my collection looking for a fragrance with gardenia and musk, and one of my absolute favourite fragrances just hit the nail on the head. It's actually a fragrance by a UK brand called Aaron Terence Hughes, and the fragrance is called Gardenia Blanc. It's such a beautiful gardenia musk fragrance. It's got like a skin-like quality as well to it. It's got that sort of musky skin-like vibe to it, but it's a beautiful white floral fragrance. Now, I've just got a small bottle of it, and mine is actually labelled with the old name as it used to be called Goddess, but Aaron changed the name not too long ago. But this is the best gardenia fragrance I've ever tried. It's just so beautiful. It leaves an intoxicating trail. It's very sweet, and it's got like a sort of hypnotic vibe to it, and it's just absolutely stunning. And this is what came to mind when Emily was describing the fragrance that she was marketing. But that's not the fragrance that I think Emily Cooper would choose herself. I think that Emily would go for something a little bit more fun and girly. She's got a little bit of a girl next door sort of vibe going on, and I think that she would wear Kayali Deja Vu White Flowers, another stunning white floral fragrance. It's absolutely beautiful. This is very feminine. It's very pretty. It's such an easy reach fragrance. I think you could wear this one for any occasion at all, but it's also a good everyday fragrance. It's good for work. It's good for evening meals, and Emily does a lot of work, and as I say, she's very enthusiastic about her job, but she's also going to a lot of fancy parties. She's always eating out, and I think this is the perfect fragrance for Emily and the one that she would choose as well. So that's Kayali's Deja Vu White Flowers. Next, we're gonna send Sylvie, who is Emily's boss. She's a tough cookie. She's not easily pleased in any way, and she doesn't like Emily coming into the firm. She's a little bit jealous, I would say, of what Emily has to bring. And she's also very stubborn, but she's a strong leader. Now, I've picked two fragrances for Sylvie. She's quite an elegant lady, and she's always got to act together. But as I say, she's a tough cookie. She's a leader. She's a boss. She's an absolute boss lady. And the fragrance that I think Sylvie would wear to work is Prada Femme. Now, this is such a boss bitch fragrance. It's a stunning, stunning white floral. You've also got beeswax in there, which gives it a real waxy, unique vibe to it. But this is strong. It's powerful. And a woman that is wearing this means business, and that is Sylvie to a T. So yeah, Prada La Femme for Sylvie for work. And then when she's going out at night to the fancy gatherings, I think Sylvie would be wearing Chanel Coco. Now, this is one of my favourite special occasion fragrances. It's so put together, it's elegant, it's sophisticated. It's got a little bit of a more mature vibe to it. I can't say like young girls wearing this one. And it's a woman that knows what she wants from life. So I think Sylvie would choose Chanel's Coco for when she's feeling really dressed up and put together, which to be honest, she always looks very, very put together. So yeah, love that one, and I think it's perfect for Sylvie. I couldn't do this list without mentioning Gabriel. He is Emily's neighbour, like he lives below her, and a bit of a love interest for Emily. It's her first friend that she meets when she moves to Paris. And they've got a bit of a click going on, if I'm honest. There's something connecting those two. But he's such a hunk to start off with. He's absolutely stunning. And for me, I think he's quite an adventurous type of guy. He's a chef and he aspires to run his own restaurant. I don't want to tell you too much about the show in case you haven't seen it, but he's very adventurous and he's got his eye on the prize. He knows what he wants from life. The fragrance I think would suit him so well is Mugler's Pure Havane. This is a stunning honeyed tobacco fragrance, but it's got that real sexiness to it. It's quite unique. It's got a bit of that syrupy sweetness to it coming from the honey, and it's just such a beautiful fragrance, and I think this one would suit him down to the ground. So yeah, Pure Havane by Mugler. Then we've got the stunning Camille, which is Gabriel's girlfriend, and she's absolutely beautiful, and she becomes a really good friend to Emily. She's very sweet natured, she's warm and she's kind, a really beautiful person inside and out. And I think the perfect fragrance for Camille is Christian Dior's Gris Dior. Now this is a stunning feminine fragrance. I love it so much. This is the most beautiful rose fragrance I've ever tried, but it's rose with a twist. It's not your standard rose fragrance. This has oak moss in there, which gives it a real unique vibe, but it's very inviting. It's a one that gets a lot of compliments, and I can imagine Camille getting so many compliments on a lot of things because she's such a sweet person. So yeah, I think this one would suit her very well, and I absolutely love Camille in the show. I think she's fantastic. So yeah, Gris Dior by Christian Dior. Then we've got two guys that work in the office alongside Emily. Now, the first one is Julian. He is very extroverted. He's a little bit out there. He's a little bit wild in a way, and I love his personality. And he's a bit of a diva. The fragrance that I think of, there's actually two, and they're both so different. The first one is Creed's Virgin Island Water. Now, this is a very bright summertime fragrance. You've got lime in there, there's coconut, and this just smells like a holiday in a bottle, but it's really bright and uplifting, and that's exactly how I would describe Julian. But I also think that a fragrance he would choose for himself is Tom Ford's Black Orchid. And this is because he's quite unique as a person, and he's got a little bit of like a mysterious vibe to him, and that's exactly how this smells. And I love this fragrance so much. This has got so many notes in it, but it's very unique. It's stand out, and that is how Julian is. He stands out from a crowd. He's very out there and fun loving, and I really love him as a character as well. So yeah, Tom Ford Black Orchid as well as Creed's Virgin Island Water are fragrances I think Julian would wear. Then we've got Luke. Now Luke is a very unique character. He's very charming, he's witty, he's quite humorous, and he does enjoy the finer things in life, but he also has a little bit of a dark, sort of weird side to him. Like, he enjoys eating his birthday meals in a graveyard, and I find him such a fun character, and I think he really does make the show. And the fragrance that I think he would choose, especially because he likes the finer things in life, and I think he'd like a fragrance that's very sort of sophisticated and put together. I've chose Serge Chergui. Now again, this is a tobacco fragrance, but it's got a bit of a spice to it, and it definitely smells rich and luxurious and quite unique, and I think it's perfect for Luke. Next we've got the lovely Mindy. Now I think Mindy is probably my absolute favourite character in the show. I just love how she is as a person. Mindy has left the family business to pursue her own dreams, and she's sort of lost touch with her family, but you can see throughout the show that her family mean absolutely everything to her. And it's quite sad that her dad sort of disowned her, and throughout the show I was willing that they'd reconnect. All the way through I was just like hoping that somewhere her dad would come into the show, and I do hope that for the next one. But Mindy's a go-getter. She's very free-willed. She wants to live life by her own rules, and she's very spontaneous as well. And I think that Mindy's fragrance of choice would be Givenchy Haute Couture. Mindy's a performer, she's a singer, she loves singing, and this is the type of fragrance I would imagine her wearing. This is such a beauty. It's like a sort of smoky raspberry fragrance. It's got incense in there, which comes off to me as a little bit like cigarette smoke in a way. It also smells a bit leathery, and mixed with that raspberry, I always say that it smells like a really expensive, luxurious lipstick in like a designer leather bag. And when you've been out for a night out and people around you's been smoking, and you can smell a little bit of smoke on your clothes and hair, that's the sort of vibe this fragrance gives. But it's not like a cigarette smoke in a bad way. It's got a real beautiful vibe to it, and this is definitely one of my absolute favourite designer fragrances. I think it's niche quality, and I've raved on about this one so many times. But this is like a sort of out there fragrance, yet it's got that sort of warm, cozy, great big hug sort of vibe. And that's how I would describe Mindy as a person. She wants to live her life on her own terms, but deep inside she's craving the support and love from her family. So yeah, love this one. Haute Couture by Givenchy I think is a perfect scent for Mindy. Then we've got Antoine, who is the creator of the brand Dior, and he is a very suave entrepreneur. He's always suited, he looks very sophisticated and put together. And at first thought I went for Herod by Parfums de Marly. Again, another tobacco fragrance. It's like a sort of cherry tobacco. It's vanilla-y. It's absolutely stunning. And I always think of like a man in a suit when I smell this fragrance. But then I had a second thought, and I think what would suit him even more is another fragrance by Christian Dior, and it's Ambre Nuit. This is 100% a suited and booted, sophisticated business owner. It's an absolute stunning fragrance. One of the best amber fragrances I've ever tried, and one of my absolute favourites from the Christian Dior line. And I think this just suits like the image of a businessman. So yeah, Christian Dior Ambre Nuit. And last but not least, we've got Alfie, another love interest of Emily, and he's a guy from London. He's a bit of a lad, but he's always suited. He always looks his best he's a banker, and like Emily, he's in Paris for work, and he's a bit of a cheeky chappy, Alfie is. And I put for Alfie Penhaligins, the Blazing Mr. Sam. Now, this is, for me, quite a spicy fragrance, yet it's still fresh. I absolutely love this fragrance. And this reminds me a little bit of like a cheeky chap. Someone who likes a bit of banter, a fun-loving type of guy that isn't too serious about life. And that's exactly how I would describe Alfie. And this is the fragrance that I think Alfie would wear. And it's such a good one. If you haven't smelt the Blazing Mr. Sam by Penhaligins, I'd highly recommend it because it's so beautiful. It is more of a masculine fragrance, but I absolutely love it, and I wear it myself, especially in the summertime. I find it quite refreshing, but it's still got a little bit of a spicy kick to it. So yeah, for Alfie, it's Mr. Sam. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely let us know in the comments, have you been loving Emily in Paris? Who's your favourite character and what fragrance would you choose for them? So give us a big thumbs up if you liked the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, because it helps us out so much. And I'll see you all very soon on the next one. Bye.